All right, the time has come. I'm gonna get started on the roll cage in this car. And what we need to do is a little bit of measuring to figure out how much tube we're gonna need. We're gonna get a little bit above that so that we have some excess just in case. We're figuring it out. Anyway, let's do some measuring.
These guys are being obnoxious out here. We're trying to work here.
All right, so we'll kind of start with our main hoop here. Basically, I'm gonna measure half from the floor up, and then we'll just double that, and that'll be the other side, and then we'll move on to all our other tubes and get a pretty good estimate of how much tube we're gonna need, so. We're gonna need about 124 inches of tube. So just for fun, we'll do these rear bars right here, which are gonna come from the main hoop down. $35. So about 70 inches there for the rear. Say 78 each. We're gonna have door bars like we do on the other cars. So we'll kind of get a rough idea. Call those 50. So that's pretty much the main bars we're gonna have. That would create a 6-point harness there. Main hoop being 2, our A-pillar bars being another 2, these rear bars being another 2. Now, we like to add a lot of triangles and a lot of extra bars in just for added safety. On the back here, we'll probably run an X bar. In the door bars, we've got a door bar here as well as a lower bar. And then we'll run multiple bars up to create, you know, a point here for impact. As well as probably run a rally bar that kind of comes here to here, and that adds some more support to the A-pillar bar. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this math, figure out what we need, and then we'll go pick it up.
A few moments later.
A couple of things before we start. What we're gonna be using for this cage is a 1.5 DOM, which is drawn over mandrel tubing with a 95 thousandths wall thickness. So I went ahead and I went and got 60 feet. We're probably gonna need a little bit more than that. Our original estimate was somewhere around 80 for all of the extra tubes and added fun stuff that we typically put on our cages. So the first step is going to be completely gutting the car. So we're gonna need to get the dash out, we need to get the seat out, and then we'll pull out any accessories and stuff that might just get in the way or might get ruined during the caging process. We're also going to be completely covering the windshield on the inside, as well as all the other windows, for when we're inevitably doing any grinding and welding inside the car. I think I'm gonna go with boxes. You're basically building a box that's gonna secure to this side rail here, as well as the floor, as well as back here. So once I get the boxes all built, I can start shaping my tubing. Once those 3 bars are done, I can actually knock the boxes back out since they'll only be tacked in, drop the cage down, and actually get the welding done on the top. Throw everything back, like throw all the boxes back in, get those re-tacked, tack the bars to the boxes, and then we can weld everything in solid like that. Let's see how it goes. Now that the interior is stripped, I'm basically gonna start cleaning the floor where I know I'm gonna be putting boxes and coming up with a design that's gonna be structurally safe, make for a nice, fairly large pad for us to weld our main hoop tube on in the rear here. I gotta get all this nasty gum, you know, all that factory crap out of there. and it should be nice and solid. So I think this corner box is gonna work out pretty well. Here's what I've got so far. It's basically just 2 pieces. This top plate is gonna be welded here to the side as well as here, and then come around and weld it on top here. And then this front plate is basically gonna contact both sides and the bottom and be welded all the way across and tightly fitted. I guess let's get going on that. Now that we have both of our rear boxes installed to the point that we're gonna leave them now, this one is tacked in and then welded in, and the same on that side. This is gonna be the pads for the main hoop, which will go wee all the way around there. I hope. Now it's time to work on the front. So the front's gonna be a little bit different since there's only 2 planes that we have to work with. I'm probably just gonna triangle these, and I wanna try and tie them into a small portion of the floor down here since we've got a little bit of floor damage, and I'm kind of afraid to beat it out and see how bad it is, but we may have to do that. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. There really is not a lot of room up here. It's gonna require me moving and redoing a lot of stuff in here, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try and do it. I'd like to build this as a full FD spec cage. So the next thing we're gonna start doing is I'm gonna get these front boxes kind of shaped up and see what's gonna work the best. Let's do it. Now that we have the front and rear plates welded in, I'm gonna get working on that half moon that's gonna cover this hole here. We definitely wanna seal that in so that we can get a nice solid weld from top to bottom on that. So I'm gonna make a little half moon and then we'll get started on the passenger side. The half moon piece is welded onto the box. That's what she kind of looks like there. I'm pretty happy with this box. We're gonna move over to the passenger side and get going on building that one. The first thing we need to do before we start bending and measuring the main hoop is to figure out where our seat lies so that we can get the correct angle for the main hoop to make sure that the hoop sits behind the seat and gives us enough room for our harness bar. So we're gonna get the seat put back in.
We're gonna throw that
back in the car. It looks like we're gonna be able to run it pretty close to the B pillar here. I'm gonna be trying to land the bar just inside the B pillar towards the back side of it, and then kind of run it all the way across and back down kind of the back side of the B pillar on that side. So that should go ahead and leave us plenty of room behind the seat to mount our harness bar, which is gonna go through right behind here. Give us the ability to safely mount the shoulder harnesses for the 6-point belt. So let's start measuring. All right, what I've got so far probably looks like gobbledygook because it is. More or less what I've come to the conclusion of is I need 118 inches of total tubing to encompass the entire thing. I'm gonna run a 60-degree bend on the top and a 30-degree bend on the side, and all 4 of those should equal 180 degrees. Yeah.
Okay, so let's pick this thing up and see. All right, so it looks to be pretty dang good. So I am going to get this thing cut, get the ends cleaned up, get this thing tacked in.
Let's take a look at this main hoop, huh?
All right, we've got a good landing. It's nice and tight here. I'm running it a little bit behind the B-pillar. Just behind it, right? We're touching up here on the roof, touching up here. I mean, guys, I'm stoked on this. This fits so well.
The next step is our A-pillar bars. So we're gonna use kind of the same formula that I did before for the main hoop. So let's get started. So here's a tip, guys. If you screw up on a bar like this, which is inevitable until you've done this like, you know, tons of times, what I'll do is I'll mark these angles, and that way if I find a use for them, then I will know what angle they're bent at, and I could either add to the bend or I can use that angle if that's what's needed. So it's a wasted tube, but hopefully I'll get to use it again in the future. All right, y'alls. It's getting pretty late here. This is the last thing I'm gonna do today.
I got our roof bar in. It looks pretty dang good. Slight bend in it here, brings it outward.
I'm gonna get this thing tacked in and I'm gonna head home for the day.
I think it's safe to say JMO is doing a killer job on this roll cage. Now it's time to do door bars, rally bars, the harness bar, anti-intrusion bars. We're going balls to the wall with this roll cage. Guys, hit that subscribe button. Watch all the other build videos. We just took it to the track last week for the initial test day. We're really close on finishing this build up. A couple more episodes and then we're gonna take it to the track. Completely done and finished, looking hot boy AF, safe AF, and we're gonna go see what this thing's capable of. All right, peace out, guys.